Good morning students. Last class we have completed Lithosphere 2 exogenetic processes, the introduction of weathering, the types of weathering, then underground waters, river. Now let us see the glacier. A glacier is a large landmass of ice that moves slowly over the land from its place of accumulation. So moves ice from one place to another place. So it is also known as river of ice. The height above which there is a permanent snow cover in the higher altitude or latitude is called snow line. The gradual transformation of snow into granular ice is called firn or neve, and finally it becomes solid glacier ice. So let us see erosional landforms of glacier. Glaciers are powerful erosive agents compared with underground, wind, wave, etc. Here we have to see the landforms: cirque, arid, Matterhorn, U-shaped valley, hanging valley, fjords. Number 1, cirque. The glacier erodes the steep side walls of the mountains and forms a bowl-shaped armchair-like depression. So looks like an armchair. It is termed as cirque. Next, arid. Arids are narrow ridges formed when two cirque walls join together back to back and forms narrow knife-like ridges. So looks like narrow knife-like ridges. It is called it as arid. Next one, pyramidal peak. The pyramidal peaks formed when three or more cirques. Cirques means bowl-shaped armchair. So three or more cirques meet together. We call it as pyramidal peak or otherwise call it as Matterhorns. Next, U-shaped valley. When the glacier moves down along a river valley, the valley further gets eroded deep and wide to form a U-shaped valley. Looks like a U-shape, alphabetical U. Hanging valley. These valleys are eroded by tributary glacier and that hangs over the main valley. Fjords are glacier valleys that are partly submerged in the sea. Next one, depositional landforms of glacier. After getting eroded, fragments of rocks and boulders along with the dirt form glacier debris. So what are the depositional features of glacier? Like moraines, drumlines, eskers, cairns and outwash plains. Moraine. Landforms formed by the glacier deposits of valley or otherwise call it as continental glaciers are termed as moraine. They are formed of various shapes and sizes like ground, terminal and lateral moraines. So what are the shapes and size? According to the shapes and size, we have to divide it into ground moraine, terminal moraine and lateral moraine. Next, drumline looks like basket of egg topography. Drumlines are deposit of glacier moraines that resemble giant inverted teaspoons or half-cut eggs. Looks like half-cut eggs. Next, esker. Long, narrow ridges composed of boulders, gravel and sand deposited by streams of melting water which run parallel to the glacier or call it as eskers. The last depositional landforms of glacier is outwash plain. It consists of glacier segments deposited by the melting of ice at the terminus of glacier. It appears as an extensive accumulation of sand, gravel and silt. Now we move on to wind. When air blows horizontally at or near the earth's surface is called wind. The erosional, depositional and transportational action of wind is predominant in arid regions. So this is called as alien process. So the erosional, depositional and transportational action of wind is predominant in arid region. This is called as a alien process. Erosional landforms of wind. So some of the erosional landforms of winds are mushroom rocks, inselbergs and erdongs. Mushroom rocks. Wearing down action of the wind, the bottom gets eroded away to form a mushroom-like structure. So looks like a mushroom. In this, mushroom rocks are made up of hard and soft layers. So rock's bottom is soft. The sand-laden winds blow against it and wear it down. So this wearing down action of the winds, the bottom gets eroded away to form a mushroom-like structure that is called as mushroom rock or otherwise pedestal rock. These types of rocks are found in Rajasthan, especially Jodhpur in Rajasthan. Next, Inselberg. In this, Inselberg is a German term which means island mountain. So, certain hard rocks like igneous rocks are more resistant to wind action. Such rocks, isolated residual hills rising abruptly from their surroundings are termed as Inselberg. Erdong. In arid region, certain rocks have hard and soft layers arranged vertically. So, in these types of erdong, when winds blow over these rocks, the soft layers get eroded, leaving irregular crusts. These are called erdongs. Next, depositional landforms of wind. The depositional landforms of wind are sand dunes, bargans and loess. Sand dunes mainly occur on the desert areas. During sandstorms, wind carries loads of sand. So these mounds or hills of sands are called sand dunes. That means the speed of wind decreases, huge amount of sand gets deposited. That means call it as sand dunes. So many types of sand dunes are there. Bahan. Barge or isolated crescent shaped sand dunes. Looks like a crescent. So they have gentle slopes on the windward side and steep slopes on the leeward side. Transverse dunes. Transverse dunes are asymmetrical in shape. They are formed by alternative slow and fast winds that blow from the same direction. Longitudinal dunes are sheaf dunes. Longitudinal dunes are long, narrow ridges of sand which extends in a direction parallel to the prevailing winds. These are called as sheafs, mainly in Sahara Desert. Loess. The term losses refers to the deposition of fine silt and porous sand over the vast region. Especially, it is mainly found in Mississippi Valley of United States and north and western China, pampas of Argentina in Ukraine. Next, we move on the last stage of that work, wave. So, the study up and down. Study up means creased and down means trough. Movement of surface of water, we call it as waves. So, sea waves also most powerful agents of gradation, and their erosional, transportational and depositional process are conformed to a very narrow belt along the coastal region. Erosional landforms of waves. These are sea cliff, sea cave, arch, stack, beach, bar and spit and wave cut platform. So sea cliffs. Sea cliffs are steep rock faces formed when sea waves dash against them. So these rocks get eroded to form steep vertical walls. Next, sea cave. Looks like a cave occur on the waves in ocean. Prolonged wave attack on the basis of a cliff erodes rock materials, which result in the formation of caves. Sea arch. When we are seeing in the arch in roads, but here we are going to see the arch in seas. When two caves approach one another from either side of the headland and unit, they form an arch. For example, Andaman Nicobar and Nile Island. Sea stock. Further erosion by waves ultimately leads to the total collapse of the arch. So looks like a pillar in that particular area of rock. We call it as stock. For example, the Old Man of High in Stockland. The last stage of erosional landforms of waves, wave cut platforms. Flat surface found at the foot of sea cliffs are called wave cut platforms. These wave cut platform is also referred as wave cut benches terrace. The last depositional landforms of waves. Here we are going to see beach, bar and spit. Beach. You know the beach, Marina Beach in Chennai. So the Marina Beach is the world's longest beach, second longest beach. So sand and gravel are moved and deposited by waves along the shore to form beaches. Bar. A bar is an elongated deposit of sand, single or mud found in sea almost parallel to the shoreline. The last, spit. A spit is a ridge or embankment of sediment attached to the land on one end and terminating in open water on the other end. Mainly, this type of spit is found in the mouth of the river. For example, Kakinada spit. The Kakinada is in Andhra Pradesh. So, what are the exogenetic process we have learned from this lesson? Weathering. So, due to the weathering process only, we have to see the running water, glacier, underground water, wind and waves. In that particular agents of weathering, we have to see them. We already learned from that particular part erosional and depositional features. So, weathering is the breaking down of the rocks. So, three types of weathering: physical, chemical and biological weathering. So, soil is the weathered materials covering the earth's surface. Okay. So, in this lesson, we learned weathering agents, which means running water, glacier, underground water, wind and waves. Thank you, Ma.